Since 1992, drivers and their teams have travelled from around the world to the island state of Tasmania. Here, they would take on 5 days of tarmac racing in the ultimate race of man and machine against every road and weather condition the state could throw at them. There's been race stars, movie stars, and famous Australians. Thousands of drivers have tried, but only a special few have conquered. This time, in its 21st year, over 220 teams will tackle the longest and toughest in the race's history. So, who will conquer TARGA Tasmania, the ultimate tarmac rally? In April of 2012, 220 racing teams gathered in Launceston, Tasmania for TARGA Tasmania, the finale of the CAMS Australia TARGA Championship. For the first time in the event's history, it will include more than 600 kilometres of competitive racing. And in 2012, see the most significant changes to the course, with only 40% of the course remaining the same as 2011.
Well, it's the 21st running, and I'm sure there's plenty of people around Tasmania and the world that would be flabbergasted that the event has gone for 21 years. It's been a pretty wild ride, and here we are. It's exactly 20 years to the week, and we're off again. We felt that it was time to, I suppose, hark back to the early years where just to finish the event was a major achievement. Modern cars and the tyre technology and the brake technology has meant in recent years it hasn't been that hard to finish TARGA Tasmania in reality, if you chose to. Finishing rates have gone from 65% 10 years ago to 90% last year. So we thought, well, the only way to do that is to make the event longer and harder and put more longer stages in the event. So the 21st running is the longest and hardest TARGA Tasmania ever.
The 2012 course takes place over 6 days. Day 0 sees a new warm-up stage in Lilydale before the traditional prologue in Georgetown. Day 1 sees a reversed loop from Deloraine to Sheffield, Paluna, Moriarty and back through the Tamar Valley. Day 2 takes in the East Coast with a reverse loop from Rossarden, Elephant Pass, St Helens through the northeastern passes, with the tough sidling stage late in the day finishing in the traditional Longford. Day 3 sees the long run to Strahan from Launceston via Devonport, taking in the tough Sathana, Castra, Hellier Gorge and a new stage at the Plimsoll Dam. Day 4 sees a long run from Strahan to Ulverston and return, taking in the new stages of Reese Dam and Pyman. Then Mount Rowland, the tough Rihanna and Mount Black and Rosebery. Day 5 sees the traditional stages of Strahan, Queenstown, the long Mount Arrowsmith and Tarraleah, with lunch in Bothwell, with the sting in the tail, the new Woodsdale stage, with the cars finishing at Rest Point in Hobart. All up, 6 days and over 600 competitive kilometres.
I'm Tony Quinn, driving the Nissan GTR in TARGA Tasmania 2012. It's a new car. It's got more power than the old car, and it's got better suspension than the old car. So, in theory, we should go 3 thousandths of a second quicker, maybe. Well, I think the event's special this year. It's more roads, more challenging roads. It's a great thing to win, and it's a great thing to win more than once. And it's not just about me, it's Naomi as well. I mean, the navigators play a very important role in the whole bloody thing, and quite often underrated, but a good team, you know, to win it twice is something special.
The drivers gather at Country Club Tasmania for the official start of TARGA Tasmania on what is day 0 of the event.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, Prologue again was changed a little bit. I mean, the great tradition that is Georgetown, you know, they love the event, but competitors for a long time have said it's not a great warm-up for them because there's only 2 street stages in the event and there's 38 road stages. So, you know, we looked for an opportunity to bring in a road stage, and we did that with Lilydale. So Lilydale was fantastic for everyone, and everyone was praising it up, you know, introducing that stage into day 0.
It was a good idea. We did one normal stage and the usual time stage, which I think is a good idea to sort of get a true reflection of where you should be in the field.
Just come last on Lilydale. We've had gone in a limp mode again, so we're just trying to sort this thing out. But you know, it seemed to hang around all right for Georgetown for us, and I think we came 3rd. So you know, I'd like to think we're going to be competitive, and I'd like to think that we can be there at the end.
It's a good start. We're feeling comfortable this morning. Didn't push hard, just want to conserve those tyres. And look, it's a long event, longest event in history, so looking forward to it and looking forward to driving the RX-8.
This is the grand final, plus it's, you know, our version of Bathurst, I guess, TARGA Tas. So longer, harder, more difficult, so it's going to be a great challenge ahead.
Well, I think the fact that a lot of the stages, I think there's something like 20 new stages, and a lot of them are back to front to what we normally used to them. So they're all like nearly new stages.
Yeah, great opportunity to drive a 35. I mean, it's 2 generations away from what I'm usually driving, and Thatcher and Just Jap provided a car for us to have a run in. So I got to drive it yesterday for the first time.
Basically just doing some hot laps, taking some punters for a ride, and came off the end of the straight. Everything was going really well, like it's a fresh engine. I said to old mate in the passenger seat, hear that noise, that's not supposed to make that noise, and he tended to agree with me, and then bang, she just expired, and it's popped the rod out the bottom of the engines.
It was a big news story for them to drop an engine the day before, and a little bit of a surprise, I think. The car has been reasonably reliable in recent times. Whilst they had a fire at High Country, they still got home, and it was a big surprise and big news for them to go out and have to do that. They whisked the car home and got another engine into it. One of the benefits of living here, I suppose, that they could just go home and put another engine into the car, and out they come, and they're straight on the pace.
Smith, running a Renault Clio Cup car out of Renault factory in France. This year we're doing the regularity, which gives us a set time to do the set distance, and you're penalised for going too fast and penalised for going too slow. It's a purpose-built race car. How you see it is how it comes straight out of the factory. It's got all the racing features and benefits without the high price tag, and I like it because I don't have to take a spanner to it. It's sort of an arrive and drive sort of car for me. This is a great release from work for me, and you know, I can't concentrate on anything else while I'm listening to my lunatic co-driver trying to get his lefts and rights called out properly. For TARGA this year, I'm expecting another 6 days of glorious sunshine on some beautiful roads in Tasmania, and no traffic coming the other way, and some friendly people along the way. Maybe I'll get to the end.
It's day 1, and racing begins in earnest as the teams head to Sheffield on stages this year run in reverse and prove to be a challenge.
So day one was pretty much business as usual. Jason in particular has been quite open in saying that whilst the championship is important to them and they're leading that, TARGA Tasmania is still the ultimate. It's a bit like Bathurst in the V8 supercars. I mean, the championship, but everyone wants to win Bathurst. The Whites are still here to win. I mean, with the points situation the way it is, they actually don't need to win. As long as they're in that front group, they'll get home.
Day one's been a pretty good one. We especially because Paluna and Nook were a couple of my favourite stages and fairly close to where I live as well. So first time I've driven the car in the wet, which was a bit of a nervous moment on the start line because I didn't really know what to expect, but everything went along really good and we managed to hit one of the crests in Holwell pretty well tapped and got a fair old noise of relief out of John when she touched back down to earth and landed a bit over 200k an hour. But yeah, it's been a good day.
Brendan Reeves, who's shown that no matter what you put him in, he's there. I mean, the NPS, he was fourth outright last year. Incredible effort in a showroom car, running third for Mazda in the RX-8 SP.
A good day, but look, it's only, I think, 72 kilometres into a 620 kilometre rally. So a lot to go, but happy to be in third.
Wet weather greets the teams as they start day two.
Well, day two started off, a very exciting day one because it was different for everybody, so it was a little bit mixed up at the front.
Line, thanks, right 5 line.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, 270 straight 2.
Line something up. Got no grunt at all. Big wide.
Right 6 tighten slight on brow.
We're out of there, mate.
That's it, is it?
Smoke out the back. No, it's not hot, but...
Dean Herridge and Ben Sissi, tragic start for the day for them. Lost the engine very early on in the event, which was a tragedy for them and a tragedy for the competition as a whole. I'm sure Dean and Ben came into the event with very high aspirations given the extra length that was added this year.
Day two sees the end on the Elephant Pass for Les Smith and his Renault in the regularity competition.
Well, it was a very exciting morning, a little bit of drizzle, and we managed to overcook it into a corner on some leaves, and here we are. So we haven't had a full post-mortem yet, but it's fairly safe to say we'll put it down to lack of driver talent.
So Matt and Casey, they had clutch dramas pre-event the night before the event started. So prologue day was a bit of a disaster for them. Day one, they were just easing their way back in. Probably a little bit far down for them on day one. I think they were 6th or 7th, but they definitely made their move on day two, and they absolutely nailed Elephant Pass, a downhill stage where power is not so important. They've got a great handling car. But they are underpowered compared to the others, but they really seized the moment there by running softer tyres, made the switch. I think they pulled 18 seconds out of the Whites on that one stage, which is an amazing effort. And it really, by the end of the day, they were right back in the hunt and they were third by the end of day two.
Trouble too on the sidling for Neil Ford's Corvette, coming to grief less than a kilometre from the end of the stage.
So I think when we came around that bottom corner there, we just lost it a bit, and the traction control was trying to get us back, but it just wasn't good enough, and we just slid up here into this bank.
With Modern in day three, You know, it was, again, it's become the new day 4. It was really where the game gets broken open, and the whites and the Lamborghini, you know, they stretched the legs. By the time they got to Strawn with a minute 48 lead, you know, Tony, Quinn and Naomi Tillet and Matt and Casey Close were going, well, what do we do from here? It's all about, you know, someone breaks away from the pack or the peloton and sends a big message to everybody else on the field, and there's no doubt the whites sent that message in the modern competition.
Day 3's been awesome for us. We've been very happy with our achievements over the day, but quite amazed at a few of the stages. But look, everything's just working terrific in the car. John's just delivering every call exactly where it's needed, and I can respond to it, and the car's working well, and it's just never been a better environment. It's just gold.
So after 3 tough days of competitive racing, Jason and John White lead the modern competition by 1 minute 48 seconds over Tony Quinn's GTR, with Matt and Casey Close in 3rd and Brendan Reeves' Mazda RX-8 in 4th.
Well, day 4 this time around, out of Strawn up to Ulverston rather than out of Launceston up to Ulverston. So again, a lot of long stages in the event. Mount Roland, Guns Plains, Rihanna, you know, all great names from the event. For the competitors, they tend to like it either wet or dry. On this day, they got it all. It was wet, sometimes it was dry, others. Single stages had wet and dry within them, and it gets very tricky as to when do you push on, when do you go into survival mode. So by the time everybody got back to Strawn on Saturday night, wow, they were like ready to get home. It was really testing everybody, particularly mentally as well as physically, just to get through what was a torrid day for everybody in the competition.
Super tough, probably the toughest of the rallying career. We've got a bang in the rear, we've got a misfire in the engine, we've lost ABS, we've lost four-wheel drive. So now, to be honest, we're just going to cruise through and check our notes, and there's not much more we can do for this year.
There was a bit of oil on the first couple of stages today that was a little bit unnerving, but yeah, you can feel when you've got the zero grip sort of going on.
Yeah, we had a good run over Mount Roland. It was a bit greasy and sticky, and at times there we could only see a couple hundred metres, and we were chuffing along over the top there. But about 200 metres of visibility looking down at 240k on the clock, and it wasn't nice. But you know, if you're not doing it, someone else is, so you just got to keep it up.
Guns Plains we'll go into after this. That is a very difficult stage, so just try and get through. There's a big gap behind me now. It'd be silly to put it off, so we'll just try and get to that finish.
On day 4, again, it is the make or break. If whatever you end up with back in Strawn that night, whilst there are some long stages on day 5, technically everyone stays pretty close. So it was everybody knew they had to go hard if they were to get past the whites.
The first one was good, except I didn't know it was a cleanable stage, so we were going hard, and I was catching close, and I thought, oh, here we go, that's a good sign, but it was easy to clean.
I've been trading times with Quinny. I think I can't seem to get much back at him. He'll take a few seconds off me, I'll take a few seconds off him, so he's obviously pushing on pretty hard, so I won't give up, but I think that's about all we got, I'm afraid.
We're not going slower than we were yesterday, but they've obviously woke up this morning and decided that they should pull their finger out and get moving. So yeah, it's going to be a good run back to Strawn.
Those two guys ahead of me, they're class acts, and they don't come off the road too often, so they'll be doing the same, just going fast and safe. So we'll try and do the same and make it back to Strawn.
Unfortunately, Matt and Casey Close, who have done an amazing job with the Audi TTRS, underpowered against their competition, needing to push hard the whole time, always close to the edge, and unfortunately they came unstuck on Rihanna and ended their event. Fortunately, both them and the car are all good. But you know, it was a big news story to the event. Front running car running third, trying to get to second. Unfortunately, came to grief on the way out.
Bad situation, and shame to lose him out of the top three, because I think he was only 5 seconds off Quinny. He was taking good chunks out of Quinny in the morning, and I think he might have had a pretty good plan of attacking him on that stage and grabbing that second spot. About 2 minutes, I think we had a real good crack on the last 2 stages as well, because we weren't sure what sort of a drive time that we'd get for the Ryana one, because we had stopped for Closey, but I think we pulled nearly 20 out on one, and we've just put a new record on for over Mount Black, so it was good that was mainly dry, and you don't usually see Mount Black dry. I think the old record we actually had in an old 300ZX years ago when John and I first started together, and it stood all this time because we just never struck it in the dry. But yeah, so we had some good fun over there, and yeah, so it was a good finish to the day, and sort of got that little bit of a buffer that hopefully will make it easy for us tomorrow.
So, after a very tough day 4, we see Jason and John White lead the RDA Brakes Modern Competition over Tony Quinn's GTR by 2 minutes 15 seconds. Brendan Reeves moves into third after the demise of Matt Close on the Rihanna stage, with Targa veterans Jim Richards and Barry Oliver in fourth.
I mean, by the time they left Strawn on Sunday morning, they'd actually gone further than any other TARGA Tasmania had gone, and they had a whole day to go. You know, they'd Strawn, you know, fantastic 99 bends out of Queenstown, and then straight into Mount Arrowsmith, you know, the longest stage of the event, the longest rally stage in the country on tarmac, best part of 60 kilometres long of flat-out racing. But then after that, for the first time, you know, after Tarraleah, we dropped in a new stage at Woodsdale. It had never been in the event before, which is amazing that we can still find pieces of road 21 years later that suit the event and fit the criteria. And everyone was talking about Woodsdale, just how treacherous that stage could be if the conditions weren't right. So day 5 was always going to be into overtime. You know, it was another 100 competitive kilometres plus just to add into the event, just to make it, you know, the longest TARGA Tasmania ever. So just when you think, you know, the field get back on the Saturday night, things are pretty settled. The Whites have got almost a 2-minute lead. Everyone's thinking that, you know, it's probably a bit of foregone conclusion from here. Stage 1, Strawn, day 5, the Whites have electrical problems in their car. They drop 32 or 33 seconds to Tony, Quinn and Naomi Tillet, and all of a sudden the door was open. Fortunately for the Whites and unfortunately for Tony, they got the electrical problems sorted in Queenstown, and then continued on at their merry pace that they'd been on for the last 4 days.
We had a bit of an engine misfire and a bit of funny stuff going on through Strawn, which put the bejesus up us a little bit, but yeah, we pushed on the best we could with it, but we didn't know if it was going to cause any detrimental, you know, effects to the engine or what was going on really, and we thought we may have actually dropped a lot more time than we did. You know, we dropped some time on Queenstown as well, and I just thought we didn't really know what Quinny was going to do, what his frame of mind was, so we thought we better push on into Arrowsmith, and we did the fastest time that we've ever done through there. I think it might actually be a stage record for it.
So with the demise of Matt and Casey Close the day before, it did open the door for Mazda, who have had, you know, a hot and cold run with the RX-8 SP at TARGA Tasmania. They've had some good results elsewhere. TARGA Tasmania hasn't been that kind. So Brendan and his sister Rihanna all of a sudden found themselves in a podium situation, running third. But, you know, again, tragedy strikes this team time and time again at this event, and Queenstown saw a mechanical problem with the car and shattered their dreams of a podium and put them out with still 5 stages to go.
Day 5 would come to an end for car 914 on the Mount Arrowsmith stage, when the engine of Daniel and Natalie Ford's Corvette exploded and caused the car to catch fire.
Brendan would be having a crack, so I put a little bit of effort in the first stage, and then I knew it was going to be tough for him to do much about it, so Queenstown went up the hill, and here he was at the side of the road, and that's it. And it is great that Jason's up front, I'm in the middle, and Jimmy's now third. It almost seems like 10 years ago where the three of us were on the podium, so. But I'd prefer the order to be a little bit different. I'd actually prefer the order to be Jimmy, me and Whites. I think Jimmy's deserves one more.
Not the fastest team, we acknowledge that, but we've just been putting in a good, consistent run, and of course the car's been reliable, and that's been the big thing.
So Modern ended pretty much how we expected. The Whites got home, fantastic car, reliable, clean sweeps the championship, 3 out of 3, followed by Tony Quinn and Amy Tillet, who made them earn it all week. And then what a finish for Jim Richards and Barry Oliver. Still there, still at the front, another podium for them, 8 times winners in the twilight of their careers. It was an incredible effort, and it was fantastic to watch.
So at the end of the toughest TARGA Tasmania ever, Jason and John White wins the RDA Brakes Modern competition from Tony Quinn and Naomi Tillet in second, with 8 times TARGA champions Jim Richards and Barry Oliver in third. In the CAMS Australian TARGA Championship, Jason and John White win with a series perfect 1,000 points. Jim Richards and Barry Oliver in second on 842 points, with Tony Quinn and Naomi Tillet in third on 690 points.
So the 21st TARGA Tasmania just had it all. The longer course saw more drama, everyone had to earn it. The competitors, when they got to the finish, really felt like the finish of the medallion meant more than ever, and so it achieved all our goals of making the event back to its early years, where just to finish the event was amazing, and everyone felt like a winner. It was fantastic. The weather was, we've had everything. The event had everything over the 5 days, which people have come to expect from the event, but the longer distance just meant more of that. And here we are 20 years later, coming of age event, just shows that it's a great concept, and it's got fantastic history, and it'll be here for many years to come.